Join the Music Universe podcast for this special social media extra from CRS 2021.
This is really cool. Solo artist, former lead singer of Chicago, Jeff Coffey. Thank you very much for being with us today on the Music Universe Extras. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm good. How about you guys? You guys hanging in there?
We are hanging in there. We see that you released a new single right at the end of last year, Someday. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's the first single off of my upcoming record, which as of yet, I hadn't had a title for the record, but I believe I'm going to call the record this time around. But Someday is the first release off that record. I released it on New Year's Day, right as the ball dropped. And that song is definitely a introspective look on, an exercise in human behavior. A lot of the insanity that went on last year, not only during the pandemic here in the country, but different places around the world as well. But a lot of it was right here in the country, and the insanity that ensued, and the violence, and the way people were treating each other. And it's just kind of a introspective look on that. And but it remains positive in the sense that at the end of the song, it's still, it asks the question, hey, is this, of all of our time we've been on this planet in our evolution, is this all we are? We haven't figured this out yet. And the big question at the end is that hopefully someday we'll be able to figure this out and be able to live without division and treat each other with dignity and respect and all of the things that we need to do to be civil to one another. So that's kind of what the song is about. It's kind of a heavy subject, but.
Well, it's needed. Are all of the songs on this new album going to address last year in some way, or try to be inspirational and forward looking in some way?
Well, a lot of them are, yeah. No, not really. This is really the only song that kind of touches on that. As I had the idea, when I started to put the song ideas together for this record, I had my phone it's just jam packed full of like little song ideas, little snippets, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the best 10 ideas that I have on my phone, and I'm going to finish them, write music, write songs to them. And this was one of them. I had the chords and the melody in my head already. And I sat down to write the lyrics, and I thought, wow, what am I going to write about? And I started thinking about, last year. Well, I wrote it last year, but I started thinking about all the stuff that had been happening in just the insanity of it all. And the words just started flowing out, and I was finished with the song by the end of the day. So that's really the only song on this record, I would have to say, that's going to go in that direction. A lot of the other tunes are, various different subjects. So.
And I know we're speaking during Country Radio Seminar, and you have some country roots, some pop, obviously rock. Could you define the song in any specific genre?
How could I define Someday?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it's hard to put a genre on something, but I would have to say if there was a genre still existing in pop rock, I guess it would be that, it's got this really cool infectious groove to it. It's like this really cool tom shuffle thing that's going on. It's in 6/8 time. So it's just kind of a unique, little bird in its own. And so I hope, I think a lot of people who downloaded the song, and a lot of people who've seen the video, which the video really puts a clear image of what the song's talking about, and which is up on YouTube and everything. I think a lot of people, I've been getting a lot of good positive feedback on the song. So.
Yeah, I know, as a drummer myself, 6/8 is very fun to play.
Yeah.
And you've got, you're sitting obviously at your studio now. Are you in the middle of writing and recording as we speak?
I am, actually. Just took time out, paused the record button to come and talk to you guys. But I'm recording vocals and background vocals on a couple of new songs. So for the new record. Yep.
It's awesome.
It's that's one thing that's been, I guess, this pandemic, it's just shut our entire live industry down. And that's been a real bummer. That's like, I jokingly say that's like taking your car keys away from you, for a musician. You can't go out and do what you got to do what you need to do and do what you love to do. But it has given me the opportunity to not have to be somewhere. And I have just dived into this record and been living in my musical man cave here. And so it's been a real good process for me to do that, so.
Yeah. Are you in Nashville?
No, I'm in the Orlando area.
Oh, okay.
But I spent a lot of time in Nashville. I'm actually working again with my good friend Rex Schnelly, who is in Nashville. I worked with him on my previous record, which was a tribute record to all those great tenor vocalists that inspired me. It's called Origins. I worked with Rex on that record, and I am thrilled to be working with him again on this one because, man, I'm really happy with the way it's sounding. We're about halfway through, and I can't wait to get it out there. So it's been a fun process. Yeah.
I love that.
But no, I'm in sunny Florida, man. You guys are dealing with the cold up there, and it's like 88 degrees and sunny and shiny here.
Yeah.
California, so I thankfully don't have the snow and ice and
Yeah.
Like they do there.
Yeah, it's bad.
And I'm in DC, and I'm escaping to the Orlando area for about a week for work. Actually, I'm very fortunate that my industry is actually holding an in-person conference in Florida. So one of the many industries I work in. So really excited to get down there and jealous of your weather. So what is country music, or excuse me, just music in general, like down in Florida in terms of the community of artists who've had great careers like yourself? You talk about Nashville and Bakersfield and Memphis. Who ends up from the music world in Florida, and what kind of sound comes out of that?
Good question. Well, it all depends on what era you talk about. Back in the 60s, there was a lot of music coming from the North Florida area, before a lot of bands made it big, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers from Gainesville, Don Felder, who I play with, Don Felder from the Eagles, Crosby, Stills and Nash, those guys, a lot of those guys were from North Florida area, and then they moved to LA. But there's a couple of guys, in the business who live here. The bass player for REO Speedwagon lives here in town. I think Art Hall & Oates sax player lives here in Orlando. Few guys, but it all depends on where in the state you're from, I guess. Obviously Miami has an incredible Latin music scene. A lot of killer music coming from there. The Orlando is a unique little scene in itself. It's been a while actually since I've been a part of this scene, because for years I've just been traveling and playing music. So it just all depends on, there used to be kind of a heavy rock, a metal scene over over near Tampa, so just depends on kind of where you are in the state,
And back to
Mr. Hazel guys are from Gainesville, Florida. There's a lot of different things, and
Yeah, no, Florida is very rich with music for sure. And when you talk about you guys are halfway through the album, are you doing a lot of remote production?
Actually, it's been predominantly. There are about 4 or 5 tracks that were previously recorded a few years ago with various musicians. And so I'm including those tracks on this record. So I just took those files and then built on them, put some guitars, sang lead on them. But then there's several brand new songs that I wrote last year and towards the end of last year, and some at the beginning of this year that I would basically demo them up here and lay down, the roadmap for the song, the grid and everything, and sing the lead. and throw some things on it, and then I would send it to Rex, and Rex then he's amazing. He's multi-instrumentalist, and he's pretty incredible, and he builds the band. He builds the tracks for me. He plays all the instruments. And so, I'll say, keep the bass line that I did, or put new guitar on this, and then he'll build all this stuff, and it's pretty cool. We have done this entire record remotely. This is, I have to say, this is the first record, other than the tracks that were previously recorded a few years ago. This is the first record that I have done this way, remotely. We have not been in each other's physical presence since the beginning of this record. So it's really, that is one thing, it's forced a lot of people to work this way, this pandemic and everything. So
how has this process felt for you compared to the more traditional way of working?
Well, it gives me a sense of, the utilization of modern technology like this and the internet, and being able to share files, and then you go back and you FaceTime each other, you talk about things. It's pretty damn cool to be able to make a record this way if you have to. That being said, it's nowhere near as fun as being in a room with guys and a spontaneous thing happens. That is uncomparable to any other kind of experience. So I miss that. I miss playing music live, but I also miss being in the studio with guys, because there's nothing more fun than that. One of the videos that I shot for my last record, which was, like I said, a tribute record, one of the songs on there was a Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald song, "This Is It." And I had my buddy Tristan Bowden from Chicago, who on drums, who obviously also initially played the initial recording with Kenny Loggins back in the day of that song. I had Michael Amardian on piano and Chris Rodriguez on guitar. And we did it in up there in Nashville, in Leaper's Fork, at Mike Latanzi's studio. And it was so much fun. And the video captured how much fun we were having. It was just us in the studio. And there's nothing more fun than just being in the same room with a bunch of guys. So
Love that. I love that. Jeff, thank you very, very much. I cannot wait to see this album. When are you going to release it? I don't think we got a release date from you.
Yeah, I haven't set an official date yet, but I'm shooting for some time in the first quarter of this year. So I'm hoping that I can get it out by April. Shooting for that.
Love that. Well, we will look forward to this time around. Jeff, thank you so very much. Real quick, we'll give you the last word. Please plug your socials. Anything else we didn't ask you about, feel free to wrap it up with your final word.
Yes, thanks again, guys, for having me on the show. And come visit me on the internet. My website is Jeff Coffey, COFFEY.com. Sign up on the mailing list. Social media, Facebook is Jeff Coffey Music. Instagram, Jeff Coffey Music. YouTube page is just YouTube Jeff Coffey, and subscribe and click it, and keep you guys informed as to all the happenings that are coming up here.